I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Oh yes, I should think so. We're here outside the Labour Party conference where protesters have gathered. We're going to be going over to a slightly larger protest a little bit later in the afternoon. But I just wanted to give you a sense of the people who've come out outside the Labour Party conference. We can see some British flags, some people representing the farmers. There are also people protesting digital ID.
This is how they are describing what digital identity will do. It will give the users access, just think, what's left in your life. It will give you access to insurance, to healthcare treatment, to monitor your health devices. It will monitor your wearables, and it will be for care providers to demonstrate their qualifications. But it'll also track all of my wearables and monitor all my health care and have access to my insurance and everything the doctors are doing for me. That's great. And all of that data goes right into a centralized data bank for the government. Now, what else does digital ID do? Well, financial services.
Hello, Dawn. Yes, you joined me in the middle of a protest.
Between this, the digital ID cards are expected to cost around £5 billion. I mean, we seem to have money to spend on this. How are they feeling about that situation?
Yeah, that is such an important point, actually, that clearly the government is spending so much money on so many different areas of the economy, whether that's, as you say, £5 billion on digital ID or some of the public sector pay awards.
And we've got a big campaign as well against digital ID, and we're seeing that the Prime Minister is uniting the whole country with very different views against digital ID. We're saying no to digital ID, we're saying abolish IHT.
But the simple fact that every nation needs to have control over its borders.
It seems like it's going to be mandatory for everyone in the workforce. There's been certain reassurances which have been made that you'll never have to present your papers on a street corner, but I don't think people are finding that particularly reassuring. This is one of those interesting policies where if you polled people a couple of weeks ago, on balance, would they be in favour of it? It wasn't actually that controversial, but almost by dint of how little trust people have in Keir Starmer, the polls are now suggesting that people are deeply suspicious of it. There's nothing like the support that even existed a few weeks ago. I think people really smell a rat with this policy. They're presenting it as a way to crack down on illegal migration. It's already illegal for employers to employ people who do not have the right to work here. They do already have to do checks. I don't think those car washes and barber shops, which are obviously exploiting illegal labour, are going to change just because there's a new smartphone app involved. And you can tell that this isn't about illegal migration because the justifications for this policy, whenever the Labour Party have argued for it over the years, have always changed. It used to be about convenience, then it was about access to the health service. Now we're talking about illegal migration. I think people have started to notice this isn't about controlling the borders, it's about controlling us.
This is where I get a little bit confused in that we were sold this idea as it's all about illegal immigration and it's going to clamp down on illegal immigration. Well, that's been pretty much dismissed in the past 24 hours as it's unlikely to make much of a difference as a deterrent whatsoever. And this morning you're selling it as, well, it's about integrating government services, which is not what we were told it was for.
Well, let me give you two really clear examples. So in Sweden, they've got digital ID, and it's been shown in areas of the economy that they've looked at that digital ID that's been mandated, that's connected different bits of data, has closed big loopholes for illegal working.
G20 is over, but what you haven't heard is what was said by the unelected boss of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. She said we need digital public infrastructures. What does she mean? Well, it's rather like the digital passport that Tony Blair was talking about. Already in the EU, they've got a trial going on in France and Germany. They want an EU-wide digital ID backed up by a central bank digital currency. And she now wants this to go global. And I want the British government to say, we want no part of it. Imagine that, a global database that could fall into the hands of bad actors and our lives be completely controlled. I want the British government to say No.
In Sweden, it's gotten so intense that banks hardly deal with cash. And some shops and restaurants act like cash is something that should be considered an artifact. Sweden is often praised as the cool kid on the cashless block. But they haven't completely ditched cash yet. They made their move by getting everyone, especially the elderly, cozy with technology. If grandma can text you, she can tap to pay. The big bosses of Sweden's central bank think we should still be able to flash some cash if we want to. So he's asking for laws to keep cash in the mix, just in case.
Peter Thiel's crypto exchange is about to go public, and it has a vision to become the BlackRock of crypto, forming a bridge for how the world's richest and oldest financial institutions diversify their trillions into the world of DeFi. In 2021, Block One spun out Bullish as a subsidiary, seeding it with billions in assets to get started. Then Peter Thiel caught wind of the opportunity. He led Bullish's $300 million strategic funding round and became an advisor. Thiel wasn't just betting on crypto, he was betting that the future belonged to whoever could bridge the divide between traditional finance and decentralized finance. While Bullish is not licensed in the US yet, it does have licenses in over 50 jurisdictions. Bullish generated $38 million in operating cash flow over the past 12 months. JP Morgan, Bank of America, and other major banks are building their own crypto trading desks. If Bullish can get regulatory approval to serve US hedge funds, asset managers, and banks, it would unlock the world's largest institutional market. And just like how Circle's IPO opened doors with US institutions, Bullish going public also sends a similar signal to Wall Street. Being a public company subjects them to SEC oversight, quarterly reporting, and the same scrutiny that these traditional financial firms face. If institutions are going to hand you trillions, they want to make sure you're playing by the same rules.
The bank will offer digital-first financial services tailored to crypto companies, AI startups, and defense tech firms. Erebor's management team includes executives from Circle and Air Compliance, but not from Goldman Sachs. Peter Thiel and Palmer Luckey are leading investors, while daily operations will be handled by industry experts. The launch is planned for later this year, pending regulatory approval.
We find Peter Thiel at the head of the snake behind all of these totalitarian-style governments. Not only does he own every one of our military defense contracts through Palantir and enough satellites to monitor every square foot of Earth, but as the world sets its stage for digital IDs and one world banking infrastructure, we happen to see Thiel being the one driving all of these forces. Everyone buckle up. These next few months are going to show us exactly what to expect.
Join the movement now and help spread truth and awareness.